Hi everyone, this is Dr. Dave here with another installment of our weekly vlog, where all things helping chiropractors like you build a thriving, profitable practice. Today, we're discussing critical aspects of managing your team, performance metrics for your staff. We had just shot a video which should be posted, which talks about how to actually engage and create a leadership process within your team. Now we got to start focusing on measuring that performance of your staff. You want objective measurements, just like your patients. You don't want your patients not to have that objective measurement to prove their diagnosis and prove they're getting better. When you hear performance metrics, what do you think of? You think of numbers, you think of spreadsheets, you might think endless data. But it's not so much like that. And I don't want to get into that until we actually look at your particular situation. But it's much more than just that. When done right, the KPIs can transform your practice from providing clarity and direction and motivation for every member of the team. So you must identify everybody on your team and their roles and responsibilities. So let's jump into this. Let's try to get this figured out for you. First, let's define what we mean by KPIs. What is a KPI? Basically, a key performance indicator. In a chiropractic practice, a KPI are very specific measurable indicators that tell you how well your staff is performing in their roles. Now, you must know what their role responsibility is. You should have a job description that lists all of their roles and responsibilities. And of those roles and responsibilities, you want to be able to measure how well they're doing. Think of them as kind of like a pulse check or a blood pressure in your practice. You want a quick read as to how the body is doing with the blood pressure. Do the same thing with the KPIs for your practice. So I'm going to share with you some KPIs to track. Number one, patient retention rate. We call this PVA, patient visit average. How many patients stay on track with their care plans? This particular KPI is extremely important for patient or for your front desk and your new patient representative that is scheduling and booking your patients. If you don't keep patients on schedule, you're not going to see them as a doctor and your patient's not going to get better. This is so critical. If your patients aren't coming in, that's a reason to get worried about what's going on at your front desk. If your patients aren't following treatment plan, that plan isn't being communicated, not by you, but your staff. You must have your staff buy into the treatment plan. Also, your new patient conversion rate. How many of those people that you have coming in that you explain to them what's wrong with their spine, their posture, or their diagnosis that gets onto a treatment plan? That KPI is really you and your new patient representative. How is your sales process going? It's extremely important that you're always working on this with the person that is in that role. Our staff members effectively educating and converting those new patients into long-term care plans, just as you do every single day. It's very important. How about billing collections accuracy? Are administrative staffs accurately processing these claims and payments? This is very simple. How long does it take to get a bill paid? So if you bill Medicare, are you getting paid back in that 30 days? If not, why? And you have to ask that question. If you have Blue Cross, Aetna, United Healthcare, whoever it is that you're in network with, when you put that bill through that cycle, are you getting accurate payments back? And number two, are your diagnoses correct? Your staff should be able to measure this. How much did you send out and how much did you receive? How much do you have in ARs? If your ARs are going up and you're not seeing any money coming in, that's a great KPI to go to your billing and collections person to have that discussion. How about appointment scheduling efficiency? Are your front desk staffs keeping a schedule full and reducing the no-shows? Look, as a doctor, you have no ability to control this. As much as you might want to think you do not. This is completely staff contingent. If your front desk and the people working with your patients to schedule, take payments, and answer the phones are not doing their job, your PVA is going to drop significantly. Even if you're the best doctor in the world, because your staff isn't promoting you and your staff is not pushing the patient to the treatment plan. You must have your staff constantly looking at that schedule. Just as a quick hint, number one of the things we do is always looking 2 weeks in advance. If my schedule is not 2 weeks in advance full, why? I want to know where my patients are, because I should know how many patients generally I should see per day. And that should occur today, and that should occur in 2 weeks. If it's not, it's a quick way for you to check and then try to work on a solution. How about patient satisfaction scores? Whoa. Chiropractors, doctors in general, typically don't like this, because a lot of times the satisfaction scores has a lot to do with you. So you're part of the staff. Do you have an associate? Watch their performance. How are patients perceiving their care with that associate, and how well your staff is doing? Is your CA doing a great job setting them up on heat and electricity, or doing laser, or shockwave therapy? What is it that they're doing to the patient? Are they able to explain what the treatment is, why it's important, and how often they should be doing it? Is your staff empowered to know that? That's going to create more patient satisfaction. What kind of feedback are your patients providing? Ask them. The trusted patients that you've had for a long time. One thing I always had a goal to do is talk to one patient that's been with me a long time that I trust about how my staff is doing, because they see things that you and I don't. Also, by tracking these KPIs, you can identify areas of excellence and areas that need improvement. You always want to be knowing what I can do to do better. Now that we know what to track, why don't we discuss how to set and measure these goals effectively? How about let's start with a baseline data. Before you set your goals, you need a starting point. Review your past performance data for each KPI. What is your current patient retention rate? What's the current scheduling efficiency? And knowing where you are helps you set realistic targets. When I work with you, and you will call me and schedule, we'll work together, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to know what your history is. I want to actually see it with my own eyes. I want to see your schedule. I'm going to measure your PVA, your conversion rate. We're going to talk about what kind of treatment plans you have. And based on all of that data, we should be able to figure out where your mistakes are, and we should be able to know exactly what we need to do to get back on track. So knowing where you're at really helps you establish realistic targets and helps you and your team know where you need to go. I've mentioned this next step so many times, it's killing me. You need to start setting SMART goals. So SMART goals are very specific. You need to be clear about what you want to achieve. They need to be measurable. Include specific metrics. What is it that you want to see for numbers? Is it a conversion rate? Is it a gross number? Is it a dollar figure? What is it that you're trying to track? Also, is it achievable? You need to be realistic. You can't go from $10,000 or $15,000 a month to $40,000 a month in 1 month. Some do, but they never maintain. Any goal should be to get to that next step. Let's say going from $20,000 a month to $40,000 a month. We're going to go 25, we're going to go 30, 35, and 40. So those are realistic intervals. Those are easy things to actually measure. But are these relevant to your practice? Your goals need to align with your practice's mission statement. What is it that you want to be known for? Who are you as a practice, not you as a doctor? And lastly, they need to be time bound. Establish a time frame for achieving that goal. Many people just don't even write this stuff down. They don't put it up so they can look at it. And that's the fastest way you can get to every single goal that you have. For example, instead of saying, let's increase patient retention, let's change that around and say, let's improve patient retention from 70% to 80% over the next 3 months. Now that you've set these goals, how do you actually use these metrics to motivate your team? Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is have regular check-ins. This is where we talk about having that weekly or bi-weekly meeting and reviewing all the KPIs. The first thing we do during our staff meeting is we review all of our stats. What do you think those stats are? Those are KPIs. Those KPIs is what we use to measure everybody's performance within the office. We use these sessions to celebrate wins and address areas that need improvement. If you're not constantly doing this, then you're going to lose track sooner or later. It's imperative that you have these meetings and you set the requirements for every staff member, but also set the goal, set the minimum standard, but set the goal. Are these individual or team recognitions? You need to understand that too, because the front works together. So, your front desk should comprise of a billing person, a new patient representative, and a front desk. Those three individuals will control everything going on in the front of the house, making sure everyone's scheduled, make sure your new patients show up on time, make sure there's follow-up, make sure the billing is done correctly, all of that. So that's a team. But also within that, like your billing person, if their collection rates are really good and we don't have a lot of ARs, recognize them. So when staff members hit those goals or exceed their targets, recognize them for it. It would be a simple shout out during a meeting or even give them a small bonus or a little incentive. This keeps everybody motivated and focused on the goals that you're trying to accomplish. And it reinforces their hard work is being noticed by everybody, not just you. It's important that everybody recognizes everyone's effort. Create a visual dashboard. Consider implementing a visual dashboard in the room. It's a great way to keep the numbers in front of you and keep them centered in front of everyone so they know where they stand and they know what they're working towards. So if you don't put up a board of some kind that people can see, that you can write down your goals, it's really tough to remember what they are. I recommend only one or two goals up on that board at a time. Make sure they're fairly shorter term goals that you can accomplish so you can change them on a regular basis. There's nothing worse than putting a goal up on the wall and it sits up there for 3 months. People quit worrying about what's on there. They don't look at it anymore. They're not engaged. These need to be short term goals that you can set on this board that can be changed on a regular basis. Also, if you're doing your weekly meeting, you should be able to provide constructive feedback. KPIs are not just about hitting the targets, they're about continuous improvements over time. If someone struggles to meet their goals, sit down, review the data, and discuss strategies to help them. So this creates a working relationship between you and your staff. And creating that relationship between you and your staff on I'm going to help you build your career one step at a time is so valuable to your staff. They want that attention from you. What I'd like to do is talk. I'd like to talk to you. If you're ready, I want to take your practice to the next level. I want to help you by effectively using performance metrics on you. That's how I deal with my clients. I want every chiropractic office to be successful. Look, if you're not doing $40,000 a month or more on a consistent basis, you are really doing things wrong. I'm not here to criticize you. I'm here to encourage and support you. I want you to win. I want you to have that financial freedom. I want chiropractic to succeed. If our offices keep closing because we have poor business systems in place, it makes us look bad as a profession. So I'm doing this because I want to help the profession grow and I want to help you grow. Click on the link below. I want you to just schedule a discovery call with me. There's no high pressure sales. I'm here to help. I want to be your mentor. I want to be your coach. I'd love to help you implement a performance tracking system that drives the growth of your practice and motivates your team. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and please like this, follow, and subscribe for more weekly coaching tips on how to grow your practice to that $40,000 mark. Because if you're not there, I truly want to help you get there. Because when you do, you can do that over and over and over. And before you know it, you either have $1 million practice or you have multiple practices doing $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year, and you have that in 2 or 3 different locations. You're going to feel fabulous. And you're helping that many more people. Look, we need to help people with chiropractic. We want to help you so you can help everybody else. This profession doesn't do a good enough job in mentoring, and that's exactly what I want to do for you. Let me help you. I want to do it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. My name's Dr. Dave.